I found out my husband had another family, so I befriended his other wife to destroy him from both sides. Sometimes revenge doesn't need anger, it just needs quiet patience and the truth to do the work. I still remember the way Michael used to look at me across the kitchen table, like I was the only thing that mattered in a room full of light. Morning started with his hand brushing my shoulder, his sleepy smile, his voice saying, "You look too good for someone who just woke up." I'd laugh and roll my eyes, pretending I didn't love it. "Coffee or tea?" he'd ask every morning. "Coffee. You already know that." "Just making sure," he'd grin. "Can't risk messing up perfection." Perfection. That word stuck with me. Everyone around us said the same thing. "You two are perfect together. You're lucky, Emily." I believed them. For a long time, I really did. At dinner parties, he'd wrap his arm around my waist, tell stories about how we met, the spilled drink, the nervous apology, the long walk after. He made it sound like fate had done us a favor. I'd smile at every punchline, feeling proud that the man everyone admired was mine. But love has quiet ways of warning. You just don't hear them when you're happy. The first warning came one evening, while I was waiting for him to come home. The clock hit 9. Then 10. I called. No answer. I texted, "Everything okay?" He replied an hour later, "Work's insane tonight. Don't wait up." When he finally walked in, I asked softly, "Rough day?" "Yeah," he sighed, setting his briefcase down. "I didn't want to worry you." I wasn't worried. Just missed you. He smiled and kissed my forehead, but it felt more like a habit than love. The next morning, he left early, without saying goodbye. I stared at the half-empty coffee cup he'd left behind. Mine always got a refill, his never did. At brunch that weekend, my best friend Sophie looked at me and frowned. "You've been quiet lately. Everything good with Michael?" "Yeah, of course," I said quickly. "He's just busy. His firm got a big project." She tilted her head. "He's always busy lately." "It's just work," I repeated, forcing a smile. "We're fine." She didn't press. She didn't have to. The silence between us said enough. That night, Michael and I were watching a movie when his phone buzzed. He reached for it faster than usual, glanced at the screen, and flipped it face down. I tried not to care. "Who was that?" I asked casually. "Just work," he said. "On a Saturday?" He chuckled. "Clients don't really care what day it is, Em." I nodded, pretending to understand. Pretending that my chest wasn't tightening. Later, as I lay next to him, I whispered, "You still happy with me?" He turned slightly, eyes half closed. "Why would you even ask that?" I don't know. "You seem far lately." He sighed. "You overthink everything." "I'm just tired, okay? You always go looking for problems that aren't there." I went quiet. The room did too. I stared at the ceiling and wondered when my marriage started to sound like that. The next week, he forgot our date night. I called him from the restaurant. "Michael, where are you?" "Damn, Em, I completely lost track of time. The guys dragged me to this client dinner." "Couldn't you have told me?" I said, "I'm sorry. Don't make it a thing." When he came home, he brought flowers. "Peace offering?" I asked. "Truce," he said with a smile. "Then sit and tell me about your day." He loosened his tie. "Honestly? It's just the same. Deadlines, pressure. You'd be bored hearing it. Try me." He hesitated, then leaned over to kiss me instead. For a moment, I let myself believe. That kiss fixed everything. That maybe love was still enough. But it wasn't. The laughter that used to fill our home turned into polite chuckles. Dinners were quieter. His phone lived face down. He smelled of cologne I didn't buy him. One evening, I caught him staring at his phone, smiling faintly. Something funny? I asked. Huh? Oh, just a meme. Can I see? He locked the screen. You wouldn't get it. I wanted to scream, I used to get all of you. Instead, I said, okay, and walked away. That night, I washed dishes while he talked to someone on the phone in the other room. I couldn't hear the words. Just his tone. The kind of gentle, playful tone he hadn't used with me in months. When he came back, I asked, who was that? Work. Again. Michael, do you ever get tired of saying that word? He frowned. What's that supposed to mean? It means I miss you. He looked away. I'm still here, aren't I? But he wasn't. Not really. Later, in bed, I whispered to myself, maybe this is just marriage. Maybe this is how love changes. I wanted to believe that the distance was temporary, that the warmth would return. He rolled over, muttering, night. Good night, I said softly. He was asleep within minutes. I stayed awake, staring at the shadows on the wall. They looked like cracks spreading through something once whole. Everyone said we were perfect. And maybe, for a while, we were. But perfection hides things, like the way silence grows louder, or how a smile can cover an ache. As I reached out to touch his hand, he turned away in his sleep. My fingers closed around nothing but air. That's when it hit me, perfection was just another lie we told ourselves to feel safe. I spent the entire day making sure everything was perfect. Candles on the table, soft music playing, his favorite pasta simmering on the stove. Our 5th anniversary, 5 years of laughter, fights, and late-night apologies. I wanted tonight to remind us of who we used to be. At 6:30, I texted him. Don't be late, okay? I made your favorite. No reply. By 7:30, the pasta was cold. I called him. He picked up on the 3rd ring. Hey. Babe, he said quickly, voice distant. Hey. Where are you? I'm still at work. Something came up last minute. Big client issue. I forced a small laugh. On our anniversary? I know. I know. I'll make it up to you. I promise. Can't you just come later? I can't walk out of this meeting. It's important. I stayed quiet. He sighed. Don't sound upset. Please. It's just one night. One night, I repeated. Right. I love you, okay? We'll celebrate this weekend. Sure, I said softly. The call ended. The room felt heavy, the candles flickering like they knew something I didn't. I sat alone at the table and ate a few bites of pasta before throwing the rest away. Later, Sophie called. Happy anniversary, lovebird. How's the dinner going? I hesitated. It's quiet. Quiet? Where's Mr. Perfect? Working. Some client meeting. Sophie paused. On your anniversary? Yeah. He said it was important. Emily, come on. That man never misses anniversaries. Remember last year? He showed up with that surprise trip. I know, I whispered. Maybe this time's different. She sighed. You sound like you're trying to convince yourself. I just don't want to assume the worst. I get that, but, do you still trust him like before? Of course, I said too fast. Why wouldn't I? Sophie's voice softened. Because lately, you sound like someone trying to believe something that isn't true. I looked at the untouched dessert on the counter. Maybe I just need to stop overthinking. Or maybe, she said quietly, you need to start paying attention. After the call, I turned off the candles and sat on the couch. The silence stretched. My phone buzzed again. Sorry again, babe. I'll bring breakfast tomorrow. I love you. I typed back, love you too, and stared at the screen for a long time before hitting send. The next morning, I woke to an empty bed. He must have come in late. His jacket hung on the chair by the door. As I picked it up to hang, something fell from the pocket, a small folded receipt. I bent down and opened it. 2 glasses of red wine. 1 pasta primavera. 1 steak. La Terrazza Rosa. The date, last night. I frowned. That wasn't near his office. It was a 20-minute drive away, and I'd never been there. When he came out of the shower, I held the receipt up. What's this? He froze. What? This, I said again, shaking the paper. Dinner for 2. Last night. He blinked. Oh, that. Yeah, that was the client meeting. We met over dinner. At a romantic Italian restaurant? He gave a tired laugh. It's not romantic when you're talking about contracts, Em. With wine? Do you want me to stop having clients who drink? That's not the point. He exhaled. Then what is the point? I looked at him, searching for something real in his eyes. You could have just told me. Told you what? That I had dinner while you waited at home? You'd still be mad. Maybe, I admitted. But at least I'd know you respected me enough to say it. He rubbed his temples. Emily, you're reading into things again. You always do this when you're stressed. I stared at him. You forgot our anniversary. I didn't forget, he snapped. I was working. Working doesn't leave receipts with wine stains. God, can we not do this now? I folded the paper slowly. Sure. We'll do it never, right? He didn't answer. He grabbed his keys, muttering, we'll talk later, and left. The door clicked shut. I stood there, holding that crumpled receipt like it was proof of something I didn't want to believe. I sat on the floor, whispering to myself, it's just dinner. It has to be. But even as I said it, I knew the taste of denial. It's sweet at first, until it starts to burn. It started with a Facebook notification. Message request, hi, I'm sorry to bother you, but I think we're married to the same man. At first, I laughed, that nervous kind of laugh that comes when something makes no sense. I reread the message 3 times, waiting for my brain to fix the words. It didn't. I typed back, sorry, what? She replied instantly. Your husband's name is Michael Turner, right? My hands went cold. Who are you? I wrote. My name's Rachel. I've been married to him for 6 years. I stared at the screen. Married. 6 years. Michael and I had been together for 5. I called Sophie. You need to hear this. She sounded half asleep. What's wrong? I just got a message from some woman saying she's married to Michael. What? Yeah. She sent his full name. Maybe it's a scam? That's what I thought. But she knew our anniversary date. What the hell, how? I don't know. She said she's been married longer. Sophie's voice sharpened. Emily, do not jump to conclusions. I'm not. But my heart is. Another message appeared. I can send you pictures if you don't believe me. Before I could reply, she sent them, Michael at a barbecue, holding a little girl on his shoulders. Another photo of him and Rachel, arms around each other, smiling. I stared at the little girl's face. She couldn't have been more than 4. Brown eyes. His dimples. Our dimples. Sophie's voice came through the phone. Em? You there? I'm looking at him, I whispered. What? In another woman's photo. With a kid that looks like him. Jesus, Emily. Maybe it's old? She said 6 years. That's before me. I typed, this is some mistake. He travels a lot, maybe, then deleted it. Instead, I wrote, how did you find me? I saw your anniversary post last year. He's wearing the same watch I bought him. That broke something in me. My hands shook as I typed, when's your anniversary? June 10th. Mine was June 10th too. I didn't cry at first. I just stared at the wall, waiting for reality to give me a different version. Rachel sent another message. I didn't want to believe it either. I found your name on a hotel booking. He used the same credit card he uses with me. Where did you find that? Our joint account. I wanted to scream, but my throat wouldn't let me. Sophie said softly, do you want me to come over? No. I need to think. Emily, don't sit alone with this. I have to. I don't even know what to feel yet. I put the phone down, walked to the kitchen, and poured water I didn't drink. Every thought felt too loud, every heartbeat like a drum of betrayal. My phone buzzed again. Rachel, I'm sorry if this hurts you. I just needed to know if I was crazy. You're not crazy, I typed. You're married to him? Really married? Yes. We have a daughter. He said he travels for work, I guess that's when he was with you. You've never suspected anything? He's a good liar. I laughed bitterly. Yeah, I whispered to myself. He really is. Rachel sent one last message that night. I'm not here to fight. I just wanted the truth. If you ever want to talk, here's my number. I stared at her number. My thumb hovered over the call button for a full minute before I put the phone down again. Sophie texted me. Promise me you won't confront him tonight. I replied, I won't. But I didn't promise because I wasn't sure. When Michael came home past midnight, I was sitting on the couch with the TV off. Hey, he said, dropping his keys. Why are you awake? Just couldn't sleep. He walked over and kissed my head. Rough day? Something like that. He smiled. We'll do that dinner tomorrow, okay? Make up for the anniversary mess. Sure, I whispered. You okay? Yeah, I lied. He went to the shower. I opened his phone while it charged. Passcode, same as always. 0610, our anniversary. Or hers. Inside his photos, nothing obvious. But the last call in his log said, R. I clicked it. Rachel Turner. My stomach flipped. He came out of the bathroom humming. I locked the phone and set it down. He looked at me. You're quiet. Just tired. He smiled. Don't overthink things, Em. You know how you get. Yeah, I said, I know exactly how I get. He climbed into bed and turned off the light. I lay beside him, eyes open in the dark, hearing his breathing, steady, peaceful, fake. Rachel's last message echoed in my mind. He's a good liar. I stared at the ceiling until my vision blurred. Then the tears finally came, silent and unstoppable, sliding down my temples into my hair. I didn't know what hurt more, that he lied, or that I believed every word. Rachel chose a quiet cafe downtown. I almost turned around twice before walking in. She was already there, same brown hair from her profile picture, hands wrapped around a cup that had gone cold. When she looked up, our eyes met, and for a second, neither of us knew who should speak first. You're Emily, she said softly. I guess that makes you Rachel. She nodded. I wasn't sure you'd come. I wasn't sure either. We sat there in silence. The hum of espresso machines filled the space between us. Rachel finally said, he told me he was in Dubai last year during Christmas. Said he was closing a deal. I laughed, bitterly. He told me he was visiting his sick uncle. Her lips trembled. He spent that week with me. We went to the same beach you posted a picture from, the one in your anniversary post. That photo, I whispered. He told me it was an old picture. She exhaled. He has an answer for everything, doesn't he? I nodded. Always calm. Always convincing. She slid a photo across the table, Michael holding their daughter. Her name's Lily. She asks about him every night. My throat tightened. She's beautiful. She looks like him. She does. Rachel wiped a tear quickly. I didn't want to hate you, Emily. I really didn't. I don't hate you either. You didn't do this. He made us both the other woman. Her words hit like glass shattering. Yeah, I said quietly. He really did. She took a shaky breath. When did you start seeing him? 5 years ago. You? 6. God. She looked at me. How did he do it? The constant lies? The schedule? I laughed dryly. He traveled for consulting projects. Same pattern every month, 3 weeks gone, 1 week home. Rachel nodded slowly. Same. Different company name every time. We both paused. It was like realizing we'd been living in mirrored cages, never seeing the bars. I whispered, did you love him? She looked away. I still do. That's the sick part. Me too. We both laughed, not out of humor, but exhaustion. She leaned forward. I thought he was my safe place. Turns out he was my storm. I swallowed hard. I used to wait by the window for his texts. He'd say, flight delayed. I'd believe him every single time. Rachel nodded. He said the same to me. Sometimes the same day. We looked at each other, realization dawning. Oh my God, she whispered. He was messaging us both. I think I need to throw up, I said. She reached across the table and held my hand. Hey. Breathe. I did. Slowly. After a long pause, she said, what do we do now? I don't know. I wanted to confront him. But now, I think he should face both of us, together. Her eyes flickered. You'd really do that? Yes. But carefully. He's manipulative. If we rush, he'll twist it. Rachel's face hardened. He won't this time. We sat there, quietly planning the beginning of his end. I asked, did you find any proof besides the pictures? I have hotel receipts, messages, calls. You? I have texts, plane tickets, bank charges. We could compare them. Build a timeline. I nodded. And when he denies it, we show him everything. Rachel stared at her coffee. You sound calm. I'm not. I'm shaking inside. But I need control now, he's stolen enough of it. Her voice broke. I thought I knew him. The way he laughed, how he tucked Lily in. How could someone live 2 lives like that? I ask myself the same thing. Maybe lying became easier than breathing. We both fell silent again. Then Rachel said, you know what hurts the most? I thought we had something real. I met her eyes. We did. Just with the wrong man. For a moment, we sat in shared silence, strangers who somehow knew each other's heartbreak better than anyone else could. She whispered, do you ever wish you didn't know? Every minute. But truth is better than living in his illusion. She nodded slowly. You're stronger than I thought. I smiled faintly. No. I'm just tired of being fooled. She exhaled. Then we do it. Together. Yes. Together. We spent another hour comparing notes, matching dates, connecting dots, every revelation another knife but also another thread tying us together. Rachel showed me one last photo. This was 2 months ago. He said he was in New York for a seminar. I stared. He told me he was visiting his mother. We both laughed again, hollow but free. As we stood to leave, Rachel said, I don't know what happens next. But I'm glad I met you. Same, I said. At least now, we're not alone in this. She hugged me, tight, trembling. It wasn't friendship yet, but it was understanding. The kind only two broken hearts could share. When she pulled back, she whispered, "Let's make him face what he's done." I nodded. He won't see it coming. We walked out together into the cold evening, two women stitched together by betrayal and courage. For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to strength. The moment I walked into the house, I could smell him, that familiar mix of cologne and deceit. Michael looked up from the couch with that easy smile, the same one that once made me forget everything else. "Hey, babe," he said. "You're home early." I smiled back, forcing warmth into my voice. Traffic was kind to me today. He stretched, kissed my cheek. "You look tired." "Rough day?" "Just the usual," I said, slipping out of my coat. My heart thudded too fast. I couldn't let him see it. He followed me into the kitchen. "I was thinking maybe Italian tonight. I could open a bottle of wine." "Sure," I said lightly. "You know what? Let's cook together. Like we used to." He grinned. "You're in a good mood. Maybe I just missed you." His smile widened. "That's rare these days." "Is it?" I teased. "I thought we were fine." He shrugged, pretending not to notice my tone. "We are. Just, busy." Busy. That word again. Always busy. Busy with clients, flights, meetings, and apparently, another life. I handed him a cutting board. "Chop the tomatoes, will you?" "Chef's orders," he said. I watched him slice them with ease, humming to himself. My phone buzzed in my pocket, Rachel's message, "He told me he's in a meeting tonight." I typed back under the counter, "He's home with me." Michael glanced up. "Who's that?" "Sophie," I said smoothly. "She's asking for a recipe." "Ah," he said, focused again on the tomatoes. I stirred the sauce and forced my voice to stay calm. "How was work?" He sighed. "Exhausting. Clients are a nightmare lately." "Which ones?" "The Johnson deal. You remember, right?" I nodded. "You mentioned it." He didn't. I'd checked his emails. No Johnsons anywhere. Rachel's text popped again, "He said he's closing the Johnson deal next week." I nearly laughed out loud. "You okay?" Michael asked, looking up. "Yeah," I said quickly. "Just remembered something funny." He smiled. "You always do that, laugh to yourself. It's cute." Cute. If only he knew. When dinner was ready, we sat across from each other, candles flickering. Everything looked perfect, two people in love. It was almost poetic how fake it all was. He poured wine into my glass. "You've been quiet lately. Something on your mind?" I took a slow sip. "Just tired. Life feels heavier than usual." "Maybe we should take a trip," he offered. "You, me. Somewhere quiet. Like the cabin?" I asked, watching his eyes. He froze, just a second too long. "Yeah. The cabin." Rachel had mentioned that cabin, the one near the lake. He took her there on weekends. I smiled faintly. "I'd love that." "Good," he said, relieved. "I'll plan it." After dinner, he leaned back. "You know, I've been thinking, maybe we should start fresh. New house, new memories." "New memories," I repeated. "That sounds nice." "Yeah," he said. "I hate when things feel repetitive." "Repetitive," I echoed, staring into my glass. "Like living the same lie twice?" "What?" "Nothing," I said quickly, forcing a laugh. "I meant routine." "You're right, we need change." He smiled again, unaware that I was memorizing every twitch of his face. Later, as he showered, I opened his briefcase. Receipts, documents, hotel keycards, one from the same hotel Rachel mentioned. My fingers trembled as I took a photo and sent it to her. Her reply came instantly, "That's where he told me he was last Thursday. He said the company booked it for him. He told me it was for a client dinner." "God," she texted. "He's so good at this." I typed back, "Not for long." When Michael came out, towel around his neck, he asked, "You coming to bed?" "In a bit," I said. "I need to send an email first." He nodded, yawning. "Don't stay up too late." As soon as he was gone, I called Rachel quietly. "Hey," she whispered. "You okay?" "I don't know," I admitted. "He's lying like breathing. I can't even tell when he's being real anymore." "That's his trick," she said. "He makes the lie sound like love." I swallowed. I almost believed him again tonight. "Don't," Rachel said. "You're stronger than he thinks." "I have to be," I whispered. "For both of us." We went over timelines again, his trips, her weekends, my excuses. Every overlap tightened the noose around his web. Rachel sighed. "How can someone live like this?" "He thinks he's invincible," I said. "But we're the cracks in his armor." She went quiet for a moment. "Do you ever want to just scream at him?" "Every minute," I said. "But I can't. Not yet. If I confront him too soon, he'll deny everything. I need him to trap himself." Rachel exhaled. "Then we keep playing along." "Exactly." After the call, I sat on the couch, the silence pressing against my chest. The house felt like a stage, every word rehearsed, every gesture fake. When Michael returned to the living room, half asleep, he asked, "You're still up?" "Just finishing that email." He smiled. "You work too hard." "You have no idea," I murmured. He kissed my forehead. "Good night, love." "Good night," I whispered. When he was gone, I let the mask slip. My hands shook as I stared at the glow of my phone. Photos, messages, receipts, proof of the life he built on lies. I texted Rachel, "Tomorrow, we start recording everything." Her reply came fast, "Ready when you are." I looked toward the dark hallway, where his shadow had disappeared moments ago. "Sleep well, Michael," I whispered under my breath. "You're dreaming now. But soon, you'll wake up to the truth." Rachel's message came on a Thursday afternoon. He just texted me. "Business trip this weekend. Wants me to come along." My heart clenched. "Where?" "Same lake cabin you mentioned." "Of course. His sacred getaway. His private stage for lies." I typed, "Perfect. Let's end it there." She replied instantly. "You sure you're ready?" "Ready enough to stop pretending," I wrote. That night, I sat beside Michael at dinner, pretending to care about his meeting. He said, "It's a client retreat. I'll be gone Friday night through Sunday." I stirred my soup. "Alone?" He nodded. "Yeah. Strictly business." "Of course," I said softly. "You always work so hard." He smiled, unaware that I'd already packed my own bag. Friday came heavy with silence. When he left that morning, he kissed my forehead. "Don't wait up, okay?" "I won't," I said, forcing a smile. As soon as the door closed, I texted Rachel, "Meet me at the gas station by the old bridge at 5. I'll be there." The drive felt endless. My heart kept pounding out questions I didn't want answers to. Would he deny it again? Would he cry? Would I break? When Rachel appeared, her face was pale but determined. "You ready?" she asked. I nodded. "Let's go see our husband." We parked near the cabin just as the sun began to fall. Michael's car was there, neat, clean, predictable, just like his lies. Rachel inhaled sharply. "He said he'd be alone." "Let's not keep him waiting," I said, stepping out. The cabin lights glowed soft and golden, mocking us with warmth. I knocked once. Inside, I heard his voice, calm, familiar. "Coming." When the door opened, his smile froze midair. "Emily?" "Hi, Michael," I said evenly. "Mind if I come in?" He blinked, eyes darting past me. "What are you doing here?" Rachel stepped into view. "That's a better question for you." His face drained of color. "Rachel? What the hell is this?" I crossed my arms. "A little meeting. You said this trip was for business, right? Well, here's your merger." He stammered, "Emily, listen, this isn't what it looks like." Rachel laughed bitterly. "That's what you said last time too. Remember? When I found her toothbrush in your bag?" My voice stayed steady, though my hands trembled. "So tell me, Michael. How many anniversaries did you forget because you were busy working with her?" He ran a hand through his hair. "I can explain." "No," Rachel cut in. "We can. You told me your wife was sick. Dying, even. You said you stayed out of pity." I stared at him. "You said that?" He looked desperate now. "I didn't mean it like that." "Then how did you mean it?" I demanded. "How do you mean lying to two women, building two lives, loving neither?" He stepped closer. "Emily, please." I stepped back. "Don't. Every word that comes out of your mouth is poison." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "You had me meet your parents, Michael. You told me you were divorced." He started, but his voice cracked. I took out my phone, opened the folder labeled proof. Photos, messages, receipts. "You don't need to say anything," I said. "You already told us everything, twice." He looked between us, panic rising. "You planned this?" "Yes," I said. "Every message, every lie, every trip. You thought you were clever. We just made sure you saw yourself clearly for once." Rachel added, "You know what's funny? I used to think you were the most honest man I'd ever met. And I thought you were my forever," I whispered. "Turns out, you were just rehearsing lines for both of us." He shouted suddenly, "I loved you both, all right? I didn't mean to hurt anyone." I laughed bitterly. "You didn't mean to. You built this, Michael. Brick by brick. We just came to watch it collapse." He looked at me, voice shaking. "You're leaving?" "Yes," I said quietly. "Both of us are." Rachel stepped forward, eyes fierce now. "You don't get to explain. You get to live with it." He looked like a man unmasking, small, pitiful. "Emily, please. Don't do this." "Do what?" "Leave you with your truth," I said. "You've been doing it to me for years." He sank into a chair, hands over his face. "I can fix this." Rachel and I exchanged a look, sad, exhausted, free. "No," I said. "You can't fix what never existed." For a moment, none of us spoke. The air felt thick with everything that had been said, and everything that never would be. Finally, Rachel turned to me. "Let's go." I nodded. "Yeah." As we walked out, Michael's voice broke behind us. "Emily. Please. Don't just walk away." I didn't look back. "You already made me walk away a long time ago," I said. Rachel grabbed my hand as we stepped into the night air. "You okay?" "No," I said. "But I will be." We walked to the car in silence. The night smelled like rain and freedom. When we reached the road, I finally breathed. Rachel whispered, "It's over." I looked back one last time, the cabin fading behind us like a bad dream. "No," I said softly. "It's just beginning." We drove off, headlights slicing through the dark. For the first time in years, the silence between my heartbeats didn't hurt. It just existed. And that was enough. The nights were the hardest at first. The silence in my apartment felt heavy, like it had a pulse of its own. Still, I preferred it over the sound of his voice. Over the lies. Over pretending. Rachel called one evening. "You settled in yet?" she asked softly. "More or less," I said, curling up on the couch. "The place still smells like paint, but I like it. Feels mine." She laughed faintly. "Freedom has a smell, huh?" "Yeah," I said, smiling. "It's paint and instant noodles." We both laughed, not the bitter laugh of shared pain anymore, but something lighter. Then she sighed. "He texted me again today." I paused. "What did he say?" "The same old thing. That he's sorry. That he was lost. That he didn't mean to hurt us." Her voice tightened. He said he misses me. I clenched my jaw. He misses control. Not us. You're right, she said. I didn't reply. I deleted it. Good, I whispered. That's progress. Rachel exhaled into the phone. Do you ever think about him? Sometimes, I admitted. But not the way I used to. It's like thinking about a storm that already passed. You remember the fear, but you don't stand outside waiting for it again. She was quiet for a moment. You sound stronger. I'm trying, I said. Some nights, I still replay things. Wonder if I missed signs, or if I should have left sooner. But then I remember, I did leave. That's what matters. You did, she agreed. And so did I. I filed last week. I smiled faintly. So it's official then? Almost. The papers are signed. She hesitated. What about you? I filed too, I said. Sophie came with me. Rachel chuckled. Your sister's a fighter. She is, I said. She made me breakfast afterward, said it was a freedom meal. Burnt toast and all. We both laughed again. It felt real this time. Healing wasn't loud, it was quiet, gentle, and slow. After the call, I sat by the window, watching the city lights flicker. I thought about Michael for the first time in days, not with anger, not with love, just curiosity. Who was he now without his lies? Did he still tell stories to make himself look like the victim? Did he still believe them? The next morning, Sophie dropped by unannounced, carrying coffee and croissants. You look less haunted, she said, eyeing me. Thanks, I guess. I smiled. That's a compliment, right? She grinned. A huge one. You're glowing with post-heartbreak peace. Is that a thing? I asked. Oh, definitely. It's like the peace after a war, messy but earned. She handed me the coffee. Rachel told me you both blocked him. Yeah, I said, taking a sip. He emailed from another address yesterday. I didn't open it. Good, Sophie said firmly. He doesn't deserve a second of your attention. I nodded. It's weird, though. For years, I thought love meant forgiving someone endlessly. Now I think it means protecting your peace, even if that means letting go. That's called growth, she said softly. I smiled. Feels like breathing again. Sophie sat beside me. So what now? I shrugged. I don't know. I've been thinking about taking a pottery class. Something simple. Something that doesn't involve heartbreak. Pottery, she teased. Very symbolic, rebuilding from broken pieces. I laughed. I guess that fits. The laughter faded into a comfortable silence. I realized how peaceful it was, no tension, no waiting for the next lie to fall. That evening, Rachel called again. You'll never guess what happened, she said. What? He showed up at my office. My heart skipped. What did you do? I told security to escort him out, she said flatly. He cried. In the lobby. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost, I said. Yeah. Almost, she murmured. But I didn't go to him. I didn't even look back. I smiled. I'm proud of you. She exhaled shakily. It's weird, isn't it? How love turns into something you have to heal from. Yeah, I said. But we're doing it. Together. Together, she echoed. We talked for hours, not about him, but about life, plans, the future. She wanted to travel. I wanted to paint again. Somewhere between the laughter and the silence, I realized, I was done with the story of him. A few days later, I got another message from an unknown number. The preview read, Please, Emily. I just want to talk. For a moment, my thumb hovered over it. Then I pressed, delete. That simple motion, that act of not caring, felt more powerful than any revenge. Later that night, Sophie called. So, still doing okay? I'm doing better than okay, I said. I'm free. She laughed softly. About time. I looked around my apartment, the small space that felt entirely mine. The faint smell of lavender candles, the quiet hum of the fridge, the sound of my own heartbeat steady and calm. I think, I said slowly, this is what peace feels like. Keep it, she said. Don't let anyone take it again. I won't, I promised. After we hung up, I opened the window. The cool air brushed against my face, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel trapped. I didn't feel small. I just felt whole. The city outside kept moving, lights flickering, cars passing, people living their own stories. And somewhere in that quiet chaos, I realized mine was just beginning. A year can change everything. Sometimes I still wake up expecting the old rhythm, the rush to make breakfast, the half-hearted goodbye kiss, the sound of his car fading down the street. But then I open my eyes and see the sunlight falling across my small apartment, quiet and clean, and I remember, that life is gone. Sophie came by this morning, holding 2 coffees and a grin. You're glowing, she said, stepping inside. Maybe it's the caffeine, I teased. No, she said, shaking her head. It's peace. You wear it like perfume now. I laughed. It smells better than guilt and lies. She sat on the couch, watching me carefully. You've come a long way, Em. I know, I said softly. Sometimes I can't even believe I was that person, walking on eggshells, pretending everything was fine. Sophie tilted her head. Do you ever think about him? Not much, I admitted. And when I do, it's not with anger. It's like remembering a movie I once believed was real. She smiled faintly. You heard about his job, right? I sighed. Yeah. Rachel told me. They finally let him go after the article came out. The story had spread fast, 2 women discovering they were both married to the same man. It wasn't revenge, it was truth. Rachel's friend in the press helped her share it anonymously. Names were changed, but everyone who knew him recognized the details. Within weeks, his company cut ties, and his reputation crumbled. I didn't think it would feel like this, I said, stirring my coffee. I thought I'd feel victorious. But honestly, I just feel done. Sophie leaned back. That's the best kind of revenge, peace. I smiled. You sound like a fortune cookie. Maybe, she said. But I'm right. Later that afternoon, Rachel called. Her voice sounded different, lighter, softer. Guess what, she said. What? I'm getting married. I froze, then smiled. Rachel, that's amazing. Yeah, she said with a laugh that sounded real this time. His name's Daniel. He's kind, stable, boring in the best possible way. Boring sounds perfect, I said. Exactly. No secrets. No drama. Just peace. She paused. I wanted to tell you first. You were the one who made me believe I could trust again. That means a lot, I said quietly. You deserve every bit of happiness. So do you, she said. You sound happy, Emily. Are you? I am, I said truthfully. I've got a job I love, I paint again, and my weekends aren't filled with anxiety anymore. Rachel chuckled. That's the dream. We talked for an hour, laughing about the past like survivors who'd escaped the same wreck. When she hung up, I sat back, smiling. Not because Michael was ruined, but because we weren't. That night, I took a walk through the park near my apartment. The air smelled like rain and earth. People laughed around me, couples, kids, old friends. I didn't feel bitter or alone, I felt whole. A notification buzzed on my phone. An email. The subject line read, I'm sorry. I stopped walking. For a moment, the world went still. My pulse slowed. Then, calmly, I opened it. Emily. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. Everything has fallen apart, the job, the house, the respect. I've tried to rebuild, but nothing feels right without you. I think about you every day. I was a fool. I wish I could take it all back. Michael. I stared at the screen. A year ago, that message would have shattered me. Now, it barely stirred a ripple. I deleted it without replying. When I got home, Sophie was waiting. "You look like you just saw a ghost," she said. "I did," I said. "And I let him go." She smiled softly. "Good." We sat in silence for a moment before she asked, "Do you regret any of it?" "No," I said. "It hurt like hell, but it woke me up. I was living someone else's version of love. Now, I'm living mine." She nodded approvingly. "So what's next?" "I don't know," I said. "Maybe travel. Maybe I'll finally go to Italy like I always wanted." Sophie grinned. "Promise me one thing, don't bring back a husband." I laughed. "Deal." Later, as I washed the dishes, I thought about everything that had happened, the lies, the confrontation, the silence afterward. Revenge had never been my goal, but truth had its own quiet power. It didn't need fire or fury, it just needed time. I remembered Rachel's words from that night we exposed him, "We don't have to destroy him, Em. The truth will do it for us." And it did. Weeks later, I saw him by accident. I was at a bookstore, reaching for a novel, when I caught a glimpse of a familiar figure by the window. Same build, same nervous posture. Michael. He looked thinner, older, like life had finally caught up. He saw me too. For a moment, our eyes met. Then he looked away. No words, no confrontation, just silence. And in that silence, I realized I didn't need anything from him. Not an apology, not closure. I already had everything I'd lost, myself. When I got home, I called Rachel. "I saw him today." "Oh," she said. "How was that?" "Quiet," I said. "He looked like someone still searching for a version of himself that doesn't exist." Rachel sighed. "And how did it feel?" "Peaceful," I said. "Like I was finally free." She smiled through the phone. "You are, Emily. We both are." I looked around my apartment, the soft light, the paintings drying on the wall, the plants that somehow stayed alive. Everything in that space was mine, built with honesty. "Funny," I said. "He wanted 2 homes, 2 hearts, 2 lives, but in the end, he lost them all because he forgot what honesty costs." Rachel was quiet for a long time before whispering, "That's the best revenge, isn't it?" I smiled. "It is. And that was the truth, the kind that doesn't need to be shouted or proven. The kind that lives quietly in the way I breathe, the way I laugh again, the way I sleep without nightmares." The storm had passed. The air was clear. And for the first time in years, I wasn't surviving. I was living.